Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hey, little skeletons, I'm Gina.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Weird True Crime. Welcome to a new series we're calling What the Fuck Wednesdays. We spend a lot of time talking about really heavy stuff in our little corner of chaos, and in order to be respectful of the victims and their families, we try to relay the information to you in a way that doesn't make light of any of it. Most of the time, we like to keep our opinions to ourselves so you can form your own thoughts of the information we're providing you with.
However, as we've covered some stories in past episodes, not all crimes are committed equally, or with any discernible shred of intelligence, and those make it hard to keep our opinions to ourselves. We thought we would shift gears this week and share some giggles at these various dumbass criminals because, let's face it, comedy is cheaper than therapy. I really try not to make it a habit to eat fast food, but McDonald's French fries definitely make my list of guilty pleasures, and I will bend the rules for those golden bad boys. In August of 2022, in Kennesaw, Georgia, 24-year-old Antoine Sims went to a McDonald's with his fiancée and placed an order. Unfortunately, due to a malfunction with the machine, as these things typically sometimes happen, he did not receive a receipt. Well, since he didn't have a receipt to check if his order number was called, he wasn't made aware of when his order was ready, so his meal was left sitting on the counter. His frustrations grew when he discovered his French fries were lukewarm, not hot, so he complained to the workers in the front and demanded a new meal. The workers declined, but instead offered to give him a refund, which that wasn't to Antoine's liking since it wouldn't go back into his account for days. The worker stated Sims got rowdy with him and shoved the food and drink back while cursing and exclaiming he wanted fresh fries. Now, he actually said it in a much more colorful way that I'm going to skip. The owner placed the call to the police reporting Sims's behavior, and apparently Sims placed a call complaining about his predicament as well to the police. Well, outside, after the police arrived, the cops tell Sims that he's not able to return back inside the restaurant and ask him to sign an acknowledgement. He becomes visibly nervous at this request and asks if he's under arrest. In the body cam video, Sims says, quote, "No, I'm afraid of y'all. I just did 3 years." End quote.
For what?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay, great.
Then, when an officer attempts to approach him, Sims sprints away and a chase ensues.
Oh my god.
Later in the body cam footage, it shows him fleeing from a residential building where he is tased and falls to the ground, shrieking in pain. Well, it turns out that Antoine Sims was wanted for missing a court date in a 2018 case where he was charged with murder.
Holy shit.
Allegedly, I'm not giggling because of the murder.
No,
That's
of course,
awful.
Of course not.
But allegedly, a woman and 2 other men went to an apartment to buy drugs from Sims when gunfire broke out and the woman was hit while sitting in a car owned by one of the other 2 men.
No.
Sims took the car and torched it with her still inside.
What?
If you're out on bond, wearing an ankle bracelet, and have an outstanding warrant for your arrest, would you really be worried about the temperature of your fries enough to call the cops to complain? Even with how much I love those fried little tubers, I sure as hell wouldn't bother the police with my grievances. That's what Facebook's for.
Oh, what an idiot. I mean...
Clearly did not think through his choices that day.
No, not really. Here's another guy who did not think through his choices. In my opinion, this takes the cake for one of the weirdest robberies I've ever heard of. In San Marcos, California, outside of San Diego, back in December of 2022, so not that long ago, a 79-year-old man called the police after witnessing a younger gentleman sneaking into his backyard. Obviously, it's never good when you see someone entering your fenced yard in the middle of the day, especially when they're trying to steal from you. To make things worse, though, the unnamed 36-year-old man was trying to get his goat, literally, The intruder threw this man's goat into the front seat of a dune buggy on the property, but the homeowner confronted the goat bandit with a rifle before the engine was even started. Not ready to give up his quest for the goat, the intruder charged at the gun-wielding man and tried to grab it. But during the struggle, the gun went off and the intruder was shot in the stomach. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and once he was patched up, he was arrested for attempted vehicle theft and elderly abuse, among other charges. All I know is that must have been one hell of a goat.
Was the goat made out of gold?
That was my literal question. Like, he must have been eyeing this goat for a while to think it was worth stealing. Like, was he going to sell it? Was he going to use it in goat yoga? Like, this is, I mean, it's California, so who knows? There's a lot of hippies out there. But I don't know. That must have been one really special goat.
So many questions.
So many questions that will never be answered, unfortunately.
Our next one goes back to Monday, March 24th, 2008 in Chicago, Illinois. 18-year-old Ruben Zarate woke up and chose violence, and even more so, stupidity. He decided to rob Velasquez Mufflers for Less on the northwest side of Chicago. At around 8 a.m. that morning, he entered the shop, masked and armed with a revolver, demanding money. The employees there told him that they had very little money and they couldn't open the safe. So this dumbass left his cell phone number for them to call him when the owner got back with the combination. I'm not kidding. He said, quote, "You guys better call me back, otherwise I'm going to come back to shoot you," end quote.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, not wanting to get shot, they did in fact call the man back. However, they had already placed another phone call to police to report the incident. Officers arrived at the muffler shop dressed in plain clothes and were the ones who actually told the employees to call the man back. So Ruben arrived back at the shop around noon wearing the same mask and black clothing and told the officers and the employees to get to the back of the shop. When he pulled a gun from his hooded sweatshirt, at least one officer opened fire, hitting him in the leg. He was taken away and treated for the gunshot wound. He was fine. This was very clearly a case of not thinking things through. Hopefully a wake-up call for him that he won't choose the path of stupidity again. Probably not going to hold my breath on that one, though.
No, once an idiot, always an idiot. Like, I have a feeling that's not going to be the last time that he attempts something like that. Maybe don't give your cell phone number to the people you were trying to rob, though. Just common sense.
Why would you think you're going to go steal money? Like, take money at gunpoint from somebody else. He cared enough to, like, wear a mask to try to mask his identity, but he leaves his damn cell phone number.
He doesn't understand that can easily be traced back to who he is anyway, even if he didn't show back up to the scene.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, are we?
They usually aren't, which is good.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So for this next one, we're gonna take a fun little spin. So Spider-Man, as we know, is the symbol of justice and a hero among many children, both of these small and overgrown varieties. However, for 22-year-old Daniel James Bradley, it was the perfect disguise to make his getaway after committing nefarious acts. In Merced, California, on November 17th, 2012, a 24-year-old woman had just parked her car and noticed a man staring at her. She noted he was wearing a brown and green jacket over a Spider-Man suit as he started to approach her. See, I'm already laughing. Whew.
It's California. It may not be that weird so far.
Maybe not. I don't know. Spider-Man in a jacket. Okay, I mean, Spider-Man could get cold. Sure.
It's plausible.
She said she thought she saw him holding a gun underneath his sleeve. So after he said, quote, "Give me your purse," end quote, she ran off screaming for someone to call the police. It's believed that at this point, Bradley panicked and fled the scene himself. He dumped the jacket and metal bar he was carrying behind a bush and was later spotted running down the sidewalk in just his Spider-Man suit. Which, let's face it, would be a very hard thing to miss. A witness came forward who saw the entire thing unfold and was able to identify Bradley as the suspect. After posing spectacularly for his mugshot, he's grinning from ear to ear. His bail was set and he was tossed in jail. See, even Spider-Man can't get away with doing dumb shit.
So my question is, was he just wearing the Spider-Man suit like as his suit, and then the jacket was like the disguise over the Spider-Man suit? So whenever he tossed it, like, oh, no one's gonna see or think it's me. I'm just friendly neighborhood Spider-Man running down the street. Oy vey.
Maybe. This is why they're dumb-ass criminals.
The dopamine from giggling at these dumbasses is good.
Yeah, it's what I needed today, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, this next guy definitely could have used some dopamine. Back in 2007 in Minnesota, 27-year-old Justin John Boudin was waiting at a bus stop on August 29th when he definitely did not make some good choices. According to a criminal complaint, he accosted a 59-year-old woman and others at the bus stop. He reportedly yelled, quote, "Why don't you show some respect?" end quote, at the aforementioned woman. When she went to take her cell phone out of her purse to call the police, he hit her in the face because that is the appropriate reaction.
She wasn't respecting him, Amber.
Shit. A 63-year-old man tried to stop Boudin, and he smacked him with a blue folder he was holding. Side note, okay. The woman received a punch to the frickin' face while the old man got paper slapped.
Maybe his fist was tired. Maybe his fist hurt from punching the woman. Also, what was in the blue folder? Oh, God.
We're getting there. The folder fell to the ground, and Boudin fled the scene. Police arrived and were able to track down Boudin due to the contents of the folder he had dropped. The folder contained Boudin's anger management homework, as well as his name. Justin pleaded guilty to 5th-degree assault and was expected to face a sentence for time served in jail of at least 120 days, as well as probation. Apparently, he was on his way to one of his anger management classes, which he really, really clearly should not have missed.
Oh, God. Wow. I mean, maybe along with anger management classes, he should take some therapy to work through all of those issues he has with, like, people not showing him respect.
What did the poor lady do? Did she, like, breathe too loudly next to him?
I don't know.
I mean, she wasn't, like, some people get mad whenever you're talking on the phone, like, loudly in a public place, but she clearly wasn't on the phone since she had to reach for said phone. So, like...
Maybe she took too much space up on the bench. I don't know.
Punch to the face. Poor lady.
That's a pretty intense reaction. It's one of everyone's worst fears of coming home to your house being ransacked and discovering you're missing expensive or invaluable items. Unfortunately, back on December 15th of 2010, a woman in Silver Springs, Florida, encountered this exact situation. Among the things missing were about $1,500 worth of jewelry, a laptop, a DVD player, and a 42-inch flat-screen television. That alone is unfortunate, but expected of a burglary. What wasn't expected to be missing was 2 different urns, one containing the cremated remains of the woman's father and the other of her 2 beloved Great Danes, Jose David, age 20, Waldo, age 21, and Matrix, age 19, had apparently entered the home and thought the urns contained drugs, like, I don't know, maybe cocaine or crushed pills, so they snorted the contents.
Oh, no.
Can you imagine their surprise when a few days later they watched a news report and discovered that they had actually snorted ashes?
Poor Fido.
Jose was sentenced to 8 years in prison following his conviction. That's a long time to be constantly reminded you tasted and inhaled human and canine remains. Here's my question, though. Had they ever actually seen cocaine or crushed pills? Because they don't look like cremated remains at all.
Maybe they were already on drugs and clearly lacked some IQ points to begin
Maybe?
with and just...
I mean, me personally, I have seen cremated remains. I have never seen cocaine or crushed pills, but I do know that typically those things are white. Cremated remains are not.
Not so much, no.
No. So wow, the dumbassery
Yep.
in that one. Like, and that poor woman.
Yeah, the other stuff missing would be an inconvenience, but to discover that the only remains of your loved ones have been inhaled by a couple of frickin' dumbasses,
Yeah, I think that's the worst part.
I don't think they ever actually recovered the urns either. I think when the dumbasses realized what they had done because they were afraid to return, they tossed it in the river or water or something like that. So
That's awful. That poor woman.
side note. Yep.
Oh my gosh. That part's not funny, but
No.
yeah.
We've gone over enough of these by now that nothing should be surprising, but there really is no end to the stupidity of man, especially this man. In May of 2009, the alarm went off in Captain Galley's Seafood, a restaurant in Hickory, North Carolina, where a man by the name of Donnie Guy broke in and attempted to steal the cash registers. There were two, one at a time.
Sorry.
The cash registers were plugged in, so while Donnie struggled to get them unplugged, a roll of cash register tape fell out of the register and rolled under a chair without him noticing. He finally manages to free the registers, but also knocks over candy, paper, and another cash register roll of tape, again, without him noticing. He leaves the restaurant carrying the cash registers while the rolls of tape are dragging. Now, he doesn't just have tails of paper flapping in the breeze behind him. No. The rolls of register tape are unraveling as he goes, leaving a literal trail to his whereabouts. The police, being alerted when the alarm had gone off, show up to the scene and are able to trace the paper from the restaurant directly to where Donnie was. At the end of the paper trail, they arrived at his apartment, which happened to be about 50 yards away from the restaurant, and heard banging coming from behind the door. They found Donnie attempting to open the cash registers with a screwdriver. The police ordered him to drop the screwdriver and come outside, but Donnie's response was to slam and lock the door. When backup arrived, and the police entered his apartment, they found him hiding under his couch.
Oh my God.
So the owner of the restaurant was mad at first, but after Donnie was arrested and he watched the surveillance video of the entire caper, he looks back at it now as a pretty comical occurrence. I would absolutely love to see that video footage. It sounds like a terrible Three Stooges bit.
Yeah.
Like him struggling like an idiot with these cash registers, yanking on them, they're plugged into the wall, knocking shit over all over the place, and then he finally gets it. And just white paper trail following behind him as he leaves.
My thought is like, that is some really strong paper tape. Like, that it didn't tear or like, it just literally followed him the whole way back to his apartment. And maybe if you're going to rob somewhere, don't pick a place that's so close to home.
Convenience. Well, I have worked in a restaurant where we had to deal with register tape, and I will tell you, sometimes I used to struggle tearing that shit off to hand people their receipts, so...
Really?
Maybe it was just extra resilient.
Oh my God. I mean, maybe if you're gonna steal from somewhere, at least pay attention a little bit to what you're doing.
Just a tiny bit.
No? Okay.
No,
that's
probably not.
That's probably one of the funniest ones I've ever heard.
Just the visual that produces is... priceless.
That'd be a great skit for sure. So we know that shoplifting is one of the more common methods of thievery, and people of all ages are known to shoplift for many different reasons. But when you hear of an 18-year-old shoplifting clothes, you would assume it's because they can't afford whatever article of clothing has caught their eye, so their option is to shoplift. Of course.
Naturally.
Yeah, of course. I never did, but I understand the appeal for sure. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, 18-year-old Jacob Wise did not live up to his namesake. While attempting to shoplift some items from a clothing store, he carefully removed the anti-theft tags from the clothes and attempted to leave the store. That itself is pretty impressive, removing those things. I know of a few times when the tags were mistakenly left on something I purchased and I had to go back to the store to get them to remove it because I didn't want to risk ruining the item trying to get it off, which is very true, and that's something you don't want to mess with. So the fact that he even knew how to do that is super wise, so he gets credit for that. But even though he succeeded in removing the tags, the alarms went off anyway. This was probably because he stuffed the anti-theft tags into his pocket instead of literally anywhere else. You were smart enough to take them off, but you're like, well, I don't want to litter. So you just shove them in your pocket?
Hide the evidence of his actions, but on his person is...
Literally just throw them on the floor.
Yeet! Yeet them!
You were so close! It's so close!
Not that we're condoning shoplifting or any stretch of the, by any stretch of the imagination, but...
No.
Throw the damn things!
So close. Just next time...
No, he's proven that he's not capable of handling anything that revolves brain functioning like that, so don't let there be a next time. Just don't. Just stop.
Just save up. You know, they'll still be there. It's fine.
I will be the first to admit that I thoroughly enjoy taking pictures, documenting special moments in time. You know, like when my daughters were born, pictures of my snakes doing goofy things, or even ridiculous shots of my food to share. Yes, I'm one of those people, occasionally. Well, 20-year-old Michael Baker from Jenkins, Kentucky, felt like doing the same back in 2012. His special occasion, however, was a little less wholesome. He decided he was going to steal gas from a patrol car and have his girlfriend take the photo to prove it. Later on, he posted the picture to his Facebook in all its dumbass glory, showing him crouched next to the police car, clearly siphoning the gas, and to top it off, he's giving the middle finger to the camera. Classy.
Of course.
Among the people that saw the picture were Jenkins police officials. Did I mention that Jenkins, Kentucky had a population of around 2,200 people as of the 2010 census? Yeah.
Jeez.
They arrested him and charged him with theft by unlawful taking. Seriously, sometimes these hurt my brain. Like, you live in a small enough town like that you're going to post on Facebook, like, hey, look what I did. You know, even if it was a prank, even if it was harmless, nobody got injured, nobody got hurt, something like that. But you posted it right where the police could see it, buddy. Like, there's no plausible deniability there.
That's the problem with kids these days, is they're too quick to post anything and everything on social media, not realizing that it's super easy to find stuff and see anything and everything that you've done. Yeah. That reminds me of, like, on the first 48, when somebody commits a murder and they're looking for that person, and then they find the person's Facebook profile and they're literally holding the gun they committed the murder with in one of their pictures.
That's going to be admissible in court, buddy. Good job.
Yeah, way to go. It's fine. They deserve it. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time on my phone. Way too much time. Yeah. And it's a small, overly expensive lifeline to all things located outside of the house, but that I spend so much time in. Because...
Same here.
Yes. We love our house. That the phone is where we get our outside connections. It's everything. And if it was ever stolen, you bet your ass I would be filing a police report and doing everything I could to get that bad boy back. Which is exactly what happened back on April 30th of 2017. Chandler Ridge Carlisle, 18, went to a party at a friend's house and asked someone to use their phone to call for a ride home. The owner of the phone stated Chandler then left with his phone, valued at about $600. A deputy from Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office sent a text message to the phone identifying himself and requested that the phone be returned. When he didn't get a response, he FaceTimed the victim's phone, and lo and behold, Chandler actually answered it.
Dumbass.
Seriously. When Chandler answered the call, the deputy was able to take a screenshot. He showed the picture to the victim to identify the person in the photo, and yes, it was the person who took his phone. Chandler was arrested on May 21st and charged with grand theft. Maybe it was just an innate reaction that he had, that when he received the FaceTime call, he had to answer it. I avoid talking on the phone at all costs, and especially FaceTime, so I can't relate to that in any way, shape, or form.
Same here. No.
What was he thinking? You get a call and you don't answer it, but you answer a FaceTime call from the same number? Was she just so curious to know who it was that he answered it?
He had identified himself. The officer identified that he was an officer from the county sheriff office. Hey, give the phone back. I
know.
It hurts.
Maybe he answered it on accident. I don't... Benefit of the doubt.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not. No. Do we all feel a little smarter having been subjected to the absolute stupidity of these stories? I know I do.
Yeah, I feel really smart.
I woke up and got dressed. I'm doing much better than a lot of these people.
Yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, because there definitely isn't a shortage of stupidity in the world, and we'll be able to laugh about it all together for a long time to come.
Did you know that leaving a review for us on your favorite podcast app tells those algorithms we're worth listening to? Ash from the Fuck That podcast knows, which is why she left us a badass 5-star rating and review. Ash wrote, "Great podcast hosted by two friends. Episodes are interesting and leaves you wanting to queue up another." If you want to be like Ash and get a shout out from yours truly, leave us a rating and a review. And if your app doesn't let you write a review, email it to us at weirdtruecrime@gmail.com. You can also send us messages to say hi, give us requests, or share your own weird stories. We love hearing from all of you. And until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices.
Bye.
We thought we would shift gears this week and share some giggles. Fuck. I'm gonna call you Siri from now on.
Okay.
Siri?
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh shit, I actually woke up Siri. No, go away. The owner placed the call to Great. So the folder fell to the ground and Boudin fell. He felled the scene.
I don't even know if I want to try that again or not. Why do they all have to have horrible names? Or like hard to pronounce names?
Whatever. Sorry.
Do with that what you will, Dustin. Make it funny.
Yes. And we'll be able to laugh about these all. Nope, that's not even close to what the hell I was trying to say.